that we have designed our quilt top using Quiltmagine, it is easy to use our design to quilt the top. I have already quilted the top center block. Now, to show you how easy it is, I will go back and walk you through the steps so that you can quilt your top using your quilt design. Under the Select and Sew menu, I'm going to choose Quilt Layout. Choose the layout that I just designed. Click on Open. Because this is the first time that I've come back to my program after shutting off my computer, my tablet, I need to redefine my safe area for my quilt top. My selected top left block is now on my screen, and I will be using the 4-point method for indicating where this block will be sewn. It's asking me to mark the top left, top right, and bottom left corners of my block so that it knows the parameters for sewing out this block. Placing my needle over each of the corners of the block, I'll tap on my screen to index in each of these corners all the way around the 4 corners of this block. And then I will press pull bobbin. This particular pattern starts in the bottom left corner. I pull my bobbin thread to the top and I will press sew. After pulling the bobbin thread, it moves back to the corner. We'll take a few security stitches to lock it in, and then it will begin stitching. At the end of the stitching sequence, the machine again takes a couple of locking stitches. It will tell me that the design is finished. I will be able to move my carriage to the side, pull up my bobbin thread, and clip the bobbin thread. Then we'll go back and go through the same procedure, going back to our design, clicking the next block that we want to do, which for me will be the top right hand corner of my quilt top, and I'll do the same thing again. My screen tells me that my pattern is finished. I will click Finished to unlock the carriage so that I can now move my head, bring up my bobbin thread, and go ahead with again placement. Clicking on that top left X puts me back at my screen before, which is my total quilt layout. I can now select my top right hand block, click on Quilt on the bottom right hand corner, and it moves me over to the next block. Because I'm going from the left hand block to the right hand block, it shows a jump over to that block. I will just move my carriage over there and mark out my 4 and continue with my stitching. After you've finished sewing your block, it's easy to go back to your master plan, your overall quilt design that you created, by clicking on the X at the top left of the page. Your overall design is brought back up to you. You'll notice that the block that I just quilted, which was the one on the top right, is still selected. If I move ahead to select the next one in the next row, I have 2 selected, so it's important to deselect the one that you have already stitched out. I only have one selected now. If I click on Quilt, it will take it over to my screen where I can go ahead and sew it out.